Hi guys. Today it's gonna be a little bit different because I will actually record some voiceover and I'll try to explain some things that I'm actually doing. I'll be trying to animate, well, this little guy here using my, well, kind of my own rig, which is very simple. I will show you everything in a moment. What I have so far is like this little sketch here. Yeah, this sketch here. So it's like just 3 frames, and it's kind of special because, as you can see, this guy is like going towards the camera, so it's moving along. Uh, it's kind of moving along the y-axis, like the global y-axis, and to do it completely frame by frame, well, it can be complicated sometimes, like how to get the proportions right and how to make things look good. Um, okay, so let's just start. So I've got this little bone system in here. Like comparing, if you seen my video from last week, there were plenty more bones in here. I mean, there was like a special bone for neck and for belly, so I just got rid of it. And this is a really simple rig because the bones aren't actually attached to each other. Like they are completely free. So it might be confusing because you might ask, Łukasz, why should you use like a bone system which doesn't have any forward or inverse kinematics on? Well, you'll see. I mean, for me, when I'm trying to recreate the actual hand-drawn stuff, like all the FK or IK systems are kind of not working because I need some more freedom how to pose the bones and yeah, and to keep the like hand-drawn aesthetics. Okay, let's just start. So I'll just keyframe all the bones like on the frame number 1. So they have all. Let me just open like the sidebar. So all the bones are keyframed. My animation starts roughly at the frame 33, I guess. Let me check it out. Yeah, 33. So I'll just copy all the bone actions like to the frame 33, or maybe not. Let's just start from scratch. At the very beginning, I will just move all the bones aside to get a better uh, to get a better view. And notice that everything will happen in uh, more or less the same plane. So my character, although it looks like he's moving forward, everything will be happening on the same plane. So, well, if you would involve the camera movement, probably the illusion would break. But I'm not planning to use the camera in this video. So, like the camera movement. So, yeah, I will start with just positioning like the bones manually, more or less where they should be, and I will rotate them just like more or less to match the character, and I will be rotating the bones only from the point of view of the camera. So Yeah, that's a little cheat for you in here. Yeah, great. So, like to explain some things, like those bones are kind of connected to the grease pencil system, uh, which is somewhere here. Yeah, like the GP objects. So I have like plenty of separate grease pencil objects which are actually connected to these bones by child of constraints. You could probably use just a simple parent-child relation to attach them, but yeah, I guess like the child of constraint gives a little bit more complex like flexibility. Um, it means that every time I move the bone, I move along with it like the particular grease pencil object. And right now my grease pencil object are completely empty. So I'll just, since I've got my bones more or less positioned where they should be, um, I will just start to draw some content inside. Starting with the head. And for this particular video, for this particular live, I will just use, actually to make things easier, just one material, like simple grease pencil material with white fill and black stroke. Hey Tapico. Alright, so no active grease pencil layers. Probably I should create one. Okay, low sound. Let me just try to fix it. Is it any better now? Should be. Okay, I'll be using a lot of this function in grease pencil system, which is like I'll be switching continuously between like draw strokes on back and draw strokes on normally on front. And to make it more accessible, I will just like yeah, I will use like the quick favorites. As you can see, I have a lot of quick favorites on my quick favorites list. This is probably one that I will be using the most, like draw strokes on back or not. So right now I want to disable it and draw some, I don't know, like eyes. Yeah, that's a good moment to think about what I'll be doing in the future. Probably I would like to have an opportunity to animate like the eyes independently. So probably it's a good idea to just create another layer for them. And since I already draw them, it's kind of sucks, but I can fix that anytime. So I can just select my grease pencil strokes. Probably I should turn on the screencast keys. Yeah, that's a good idea. And by hitting M, I can move them to any layer I want, or I can create a new layer, like that. So I just name them properly, eyes, right? So right now I've got them on a separate layer. That's cool. Probably it's a good idea to have like mouth in the same manner. What a handsome guy. All right. Anything else? Maybe a hat or something. I love hats. And since I'll be using this rig to move things around, I can go a little bit more crazy with amount of details that I would usually do by going frame by frame. So I'll just, well, throw a patch in here, maybe in here. Why not? Okay, great. Maybe a card. Yeah, so that's a layer with the head. All right. And yeah, probably I would need some kind of nose. Maybe on a separate layer as well. Why not? Great. Great, great, great. Okay, let's move on. We got a head ready. I've got a head ready. So let's move on to the chest. So as you can see, like the chest has this child of constraint as well, and it's parented to the armature, and it's parented to the particular bone. And it got like all the stuff like location, rotation, and scale enabled. So yeah, pretty easy. Let me just create a new grease pencil layer and start drawing stuff. And as you can see, since it's all roughly on the same plane, the grease pencil object, like different grease pencil object, start to like overlap each other, and that's not good. But I can easily fix that by simply picking my bone and dragging it like back or forth to create like, well, normally in 2D animation you would create it with a layer order. So you could probably create another layer in the same grease pencil object which is beneath the head. But since there are two different grease pencil objects, I can't force the layer order. So I will just use this fact that I'm in a 3D program in Blender, and I will just like use actual location of the grease pencil object to force this order. And as you can see, in most cases, like in all cases, like the z-axis is the one that will be most interesting for me. So I'll just use the shortcut G plus Z and move it just a little bit backwards, like to hide the chest behind the head. And this is really cool because it gives a lot of flexibility, because, well, if at some point, like the layer order or the order of the of these objects would have to change, I don't need to like create another layer and copy the frames. And like if you do the 2D animation, you probably know the drill. I can just keyframe the position, and yeah, and I'm good. So let's keep on drawing. All right. So right now I'm in the same. Actually, I won't delete it. I should have my draw strokes on back enabled, like the draw strokes on back option enabled, but I can still fix that, like by simply selecting this object I just drawn, and I can kind of arrange it so I can bring it forward or backward, or I can use the shortcut key, which I use very often. It's like Control plus down arrow, and yeah, I can move it. I can change the stroke order. As I mentioned before, I can go a little bit wilder with amount of details. So yeah, why won't I like create some kind of a belt? I don't know, I'm just improvising in here, sorry. Same thing in here, like I can simply like use the control down arrow and try to place it where it should be. This is really handy. Okay, maybe some kind of a belt in here. Some buttons, whatever. And the cool feature of Grease Pencil is this whole sculpting mode. It's really, really handy. If I feel like, for example, here I feel it's a little bit off, so instead of erasing it and redrawing or doing such things, I can just go to sculpt mode and try to resculpt it. And I don't actually want to touch like this whole torso thing. I just need to work on a belt. So I'll just select it in the edit mode, and in sculpt mode I will use the selection mask. I have it in my quick favorites section, but if you want to like enable it, it's right here on the top. It sits right here on the top. So right now when I'll be sculpting only the belt. And for example, if I feel that it should be like this collar thing should be above this belt, I can just easily select all those objects and just like bring it to front. Yeah, I have it in quick favorites as well, but normally it sits like, if you will just like have this selected in edit mode, and with the right mouse button you can find arrange option here and just bring it forward or bring it to front. Yeah. All right. So enough for the chest. Enough for the chest. Let's go for the base. Yeah, I need to create a new layer, like the empty layer, and just start drawing. And again, I'm on the different grease pencil objects. So right now, I don't need even to like arrange it in a different way, like bring forward or backward. I'll just take this particular bone in the pose mode and bring it a little bit backwards along z-axis. Yeah, perfect. Okay, let's go for legs. So I divided my legs into three parts, like three parts each leg. So like upper leg, so tight, shin, and a foot. Okay, let's start with the right tight. Here it is. And I will position it just beneath the the base of my character. Same for the shin. Okay, I can already see that it should be. Actually, I don't want to select accidentally the sketch grease pencil object, so I'll just turn off like this disable selection. I mean, I will use this disable selection option here. If you can't find it, you can enable it here. Probably normally your Blender after like the first installation looks just like this. Well, having this little guy here enabled helps sometimes. Yeah, so as you can see, it's more or less on the same plane. I just move it a little bit forward and backward just to like um, create this fake layer order, if you will. Um, yeah, let's continue with the shin. And the thing is that, well, I find this workflow even faster than using like one grease pencil object, one grease pencil object for the whole character, and because I can actually select like the different body parts straight from the viewport in 3D mode. It's not a big thing, but I think it's a little bit faster than just like looking for particular layers. So my grease pencil objects are basically containers for artwork, and I will decide what I will do with it later on. So let me enable the draw on back and create some kind of, I don't know, weird thing for the shin. Fair enough. And finally the foot, right? Right foot. All right. Here it goes. Okay, let's do the other leg really fast. Okay. So when I start drawing, I can immediately see if my layer is beneath or above. I mean, my grease pencil object is beneath or above. So it takes some time at the beginning, but later on it gets a little bit easier. I mean, you could obviously arrange your initial rig in a way that it's already positioned in a certain way, but well, the whole point is to get as flexible as it can be. So yeah, like having this initial position of the bones in the same exactly the same plane, it's kind of, well, it works for me at least. It needs some extra work at the beginning, but yeah. Sorry, wrong bone. Yeah, so let's go for arms. It's pretty the same. In my case, it's pretty the same like with the legs. So my arms are divided into three different grease pencil objects each. I could probably go with just one bone and one grease pencil object. Well, yeah, I think it will save me some work later on, especially because how the animation looks like and how the layer order or the object order changes during the animation. Mm, yeah. And as you can see, my initial sketch, I obviously created it before this live. It's pretty simplistic. It just gives the general idea about the motion. Well, it's a good starting point both for like rigged animation or strictly hand drawn frame by frame animation. If I would go for like just frame by frame, probably I would need to create some more uh, frames, like something for an anticipation. Right now I've got only the initial position, like the first keyframe, the breakdown frame, and the final keyframe. I hope I'll be able to create some anticipation and some overshoot just by rearranging the bones without having to draw everything from scratch. And I completely lack any details in this sketch, so no fingers, no nothing. Well, the good sketch is probably the very important thing in this technique. So it's not for the people who don't feel comfortable with drawing. I mean, the drawing is the most important part, like the most important skill in this particular workflow. But yeah, anyway, we'll be using bones and we'll try to save some time. Oh, okay, let's go further. Let's go for the upper arm, like right upper arm. Yes, something like that. Obviously, actually, I can kind of clean it up. Like I can close the grease pencil shape by hitting F, so it created connection between the endpoints, and it looks kind of sloppy. So I'll just go to sculpt mode and resculpt it a little bit. Maybe I'll just add some extra details here and there. And let's just move it backwards along the z-axis. Well, wrong bone. Yeah. Actually, maybe before drawing a hand, I will just reposition uh, the bone a little bit. It's not like the big deal, but yeah, better safe than sorry. Um, I don't know how about you, but this is one of my biggest problems during the animation process. Like when I sketch something, like the initial poses, it usually appears that after trying to clean it up later on, like, well, the sketch looked good, but the cleaning it up, like, it appears that some things are misplaced. So yeah, this technique also allows you to, like, uh, I don't know, like, correct all the mistakes pretty painlessly. If you do everything frame by frame, then it's really painful to rearrange stuff. Right hand. Something like this. Working with grease pencil shapes is cool because it helps me to, like, well, I'm not a very conscious drawer. I don't know if it's a word in English, but it's not like I know from the beginning what I'm actually doing. So I like to have the opportunity to like fix things around later on, and working with grease pencil shapes gives me that opportunity. I like it a lot. So again, I will use selection mask to straighten things up. And uh, right now in the sculpt mode, I'll just turn off the selection mask. And basically in the sculpt mode, I kind of use only three functions, like the grab tool, the thickness tool, and the smooth tool, which actually doesn't need to be picked from here, because if you will just hold shift, it will automatically start to act as a smooth brush. So yeah, and the thickness tool used to be kind of suck, like in the earlier versions of Blender, because even if you would go like really like trying to kind of erase the stroke, it always left this little tiny little uh, um, I don't know, like the black stroke, really 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 barely visible, but visible. Right now I can kind of get rid of everything and make it look it more or less like I want. And obviously if you could like see, if you go like really close to the object, you can see it's like, well, it's not perfect, but come on, like from this distance, well, I think it's more than okay. Yeah, I mean just okay. Okay, we've got one more arm to do, so let's start with the left arm. Same thing here. I will just close the shape, sculpt it a little bit. Well, that kind of sucks. Actually, I haven't figured out yet how to deal with this thing, other than just manually uh, making the particular vertex a little bit thicker by holding, like selecting the particular vertex and using Alt S. Okay, looks good. Let's just move it backwards. And continue drawing with a strokes on back option enabled. Yeah, some cool bandages. Well, if I would like to go like frame by frame or something, that kind of aesthetics would be kind of nightmarish, because you just need to redraw all the stuff. I will try to avoid it. Okay, let's go for the left hand, and we are nearly done. Okay, guys, so I just need like 5 minutes, so stay tuned. I will just be back. Okay, guys, I'm back. I'm back. Sorry for that. Like this, it was like emergency. No one visits me, and right now when I'm live, accidentally a friend came. For all right, where have we? Where are we? Yeah, so more or less we've got like I've got like my character ready. Well, let's try to animate it. So basically, my animation should start like at frame 33. I just wanted to give it some space before it actually starts uh, moving. So I'll just go to object mode and to pose mode, select all the bones, and in action editor I will just copy all the frames to the first frame of my animation. Let's forget the breakdown for now, and let's go straight to the final position of my character. And in that case, I kind of like to use like the markers. I mean, just to because every time I will move to, for example, grease pencil, I will see where my keyframes should actually be. But right now, let's try to move like the all the bones in the proper place. And now something weird. I will just select all the bones and like push it aside. So animation goes like this. Let's not worry. It's only the beginning. Let's start with the head. And this is kind of why I decided that I want all the bones separated. I mean, there is no connection between them. So yeah. This is kind of quite opposite what you would expect from the rig, but so what I'm doing, I'm just like moving the bones and actually scaling them up. Yeah. So before meddling with the grease pencil content, I will just like move all the bones into more or less into proper places. Or maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe we should like start meddling with the grease pencil as well from the beginning. So yeah, I got this chest, and obviously it looks totally off in this particular frame. Well, I scaled up the the bone, trying to match the sketch. You might notice that while I'm scaling the bone and scaling the grease pencil, attached grease pencil in the same time, the thickness of the grease pencil object goes up, which is kind of cool. Like, it works for me. Okay, what should I do with this chest object? I mean, I could redraw it, right? But maybe I can avoid it. Maybe I can just like use the grease pencil sculpting system to make it look, well, to make it look better. And the thing is that if I won't break the structure of this grease pencil object, meaning that I won't draw anything new on it, or I won't change the stroke order, it will destroy like this technique if I would even like move the things upward or backwards, like the particular elements of this complicated object. I would probably I won't be able to interpolate it, and this is like this is the thing I want to do with the, at least with the chest. So I'll just go to the sculpt mode, turn off the selection mask, and I will try just like move the things around to match the sketch as well as best as I can. And obviously it's, well, it takes it takes some practice. When you will, if I decide that I totally screw it up and it's not good, I always have this first frame, so I can just copy it here and yeah, I can start over again. But yeah, using like both sculpting tools and editing tools, I can probably make it look a little bit more convincing. And obviously, like, good practice is to use the selection tool, I mean the selection mask. So if I want to, for example, work only on this belt in here, I just select it and start to sculpting it without bothering too much about the rest of the like destroying the rest of this object. And actually selecting things in grease pencil in stroke mode, when you've got like this select mode set to stroke, it's quite easy. It's not that bad actually. So yeah, you can easily add things that you want to sculpt, or with just like holding shift and selecting it, or using control to deselect it. Yeah, let's bend it a little bit to give it a little bit of perspective. Maybe let's get back to the belt for a moment. Great. So the whole thing is to like try to reuse as much of the objects of the grease pencil stroke that are already there. Like, okay, I'll just copy one more thing to do. I'll just copy like the first frame here, so it looks really weird, but yeah, stay with me. Maybe I'll just rearrange the face a little bit, so we got this illusion that it actually changed the rotation. Yeah, looks convincing to me. That's cool. Okay, time for what can we do now? Like probably the base. So I'll just scale it up as much as I can uh, to kind of match the sketch. That's a good phrase. And now I'll just resculpt it as best as I can. Yeah, something like that. Yeah, that wasn't that hard. If I feel that, for example, the thickness is like too high in here, I can always go for the thickness tool and just make it uh, a little bit less thick. All right. I can do it in the sculpt mode. I can select all the strokes and just push Alt and S and scale it a little bit down. So probably I would need to resculpt it a little bit to give it a little bit more I don't know, like probably it feels like it should be aiming a little bit downwards, since we kind of look at this object from above right now. Yeah, great. I could try to resculpt it, but in this particular case, I think I'll just redraw it. Yeah, so I've got my like auto keying on, so every time I start to draw, like the new keyframe, new empty keyframe appears. And I don't want to have anything like onion skins yet. That's not a good time for it. I'll just like draw a new foot. Probably the shin needs some work. So I won't be scaling this guy here much. Just I will just move it around. Maybe I'll just make a thickness a little bit higher in this part and leave it like this in the back. Okay. Yeah, that looks off. Maybe I could just scale it. If I will turn on the the gizmo so you can see the axis a little bit better. Probably I can just scale it a little bit like this, just along the y-axis. And obviously it needs some work in the sculpt mode. To make the perspective more convincing. Yeah. Okay, actually, with the foot, I kind of... Probably I just want to copy the... Yeah, so the foot is exactly in the same position as it used to be. So right now I will just rearrange the shin a little bit. So let's go to pose mode. Like this maybe? Why not? And I'll just resculpt the foot just a little bit to give it a little bit of motion, but not so much. It kind of stays in the place. Okay, let's go for the arms. Let's start with the forearm. It's behind the chest, so it's good. I'll just resculpt it a little bit, just a little bit, yeah, something like that. Maybe take down the thickness a little bit so it matches the rest of the body. Yeah, so right now, like in the initial position, the forearm was kind of hidden behind the upper arm. So here I just want to grab it and push it a little bit forward. Spiky heart. What? Okay, sorry for blowing your mind. I mean, this technique is... it's not like it's super easy. I mean, for example, for just those two frames, maybe, just maybe, it would be even faster to just like, you know, redraw all the stuff. If you've got some serious, like even basic drawing skills, it would probably even go faster than all this mess with grease pencil sculpting and, you know, and with rearranging the bones and stuff. But the real pain when it comes to animation, in my opinion, the real pain starts when you need to fill it with in-betweens and you need to do all those little movements at the end. I mean, like the little overshoots and stuff like that. And if you'll stay with me a little bit longer, I will show you what I mean. Because we are almost ready with the key poses. the general idea behind this technique is like to reuse whatever you can reuse, you are able to reuse, and redraw where you need to redraw stuff. And right now I'll be dealing with the hand, so probably, I mean, for sure I will have to redraw it. Again, used to be behind the forearm. I will just push it a little bit forward along the z-axis. And well, that doesn't look good at all. And it was always my main issue with the rigged animation. Things like that, well, it doesn't look cool. It looks fake, and yeah, you know. So I really like to have this opportunity to redraw the whole thing. Maybe I'll just turn on the onion skin for a bit, just to, maybe let's turn down the opacity a bit, just to, you know, get the general idea about the size of the hand. And I will try to draw some interesting hand pose. Well, I don't know how about you guys, but like drawing hands, it sucks. I mean, if it works, it's beautiful, but come on, I'm doing this for a couple of years by now. I mean, a lot of years. Probably I started around 2009. That was my first like music video I created. And since that, I just feel like a beginner when it comes to drawing hands. And I keep practicing and everything, and Jesus, this is really hard. So I'll just draw those fingers as best as I can, and yeah, later on I will try to rearrange them in a way that they look, well, a little bit more convincing. Because right now it looks like shit. Sorry for bad word. Okay, so selection mask. Okay, so probably this guy should be on top. Let's maybe just finish all the details I want to add, and yeah. Not that bad. Seen worse, but yeah, I can do some things. Generally, I want this guy here, like the index finger, to sit on top of everything, and those guys I want to I want them behind. Yeah, like Spiky Heart. Generally speaking, like for me, rigging the hand-drawn animation is always a little bit tricky. I mean, if you ask me, everything should be made like should be hand-drawn, like frame by frame. There's always like the best results when it comes to animation. It's always hand-drawn stuff. I mean, I like 3D, I like cutouts and stuff like that, but yeah, like lately, the most I don't know. My son said I need to go to see the Chainsaw Man. So, well, we went to the cinema, and boy, that was some hand-drawn frame by frame animation massacre. That was so brilliant. One of the best animation I've seen lately, and the amount of work that was like thrown into this animation, into this movie, is just mind-blowing. But there are some like special things about the studio behind this film, right? They supposed to like probably they keep them in the cellar or something like that, and keep feeding them with energy drinks. And yeah, I'm too old for this. I need some, I need some ways to make my life a little bit easier, especially that for, well, for the most time in my so-called professional career, I was working as kind of one-man army. So working a lot alone on projects when I was responsible for everything from, actually, usually basically from the script until the final editing. So I really like the searching for the ways to make my life a little bit easier became kind of obsession. All right, this one will be a little bit fake. Hope it would stand at the end, because this patch could break. Actually, it looks nice, but it could break the illusion a little bit, because if I'm getting this right, it's like with this motion it should kind of disappear behind, but I will just keep it. I will just resculpt it a little bit and hope it's fine. Okay, I don't need the onion skins right now. And I was doing quite a lot of 3D animation as well for various projects, and in that case using rig obviously is a must. I mean, you can't really do it without the rig. I mean, you can, but well, in very special ways. um, and I kind of love using like this whole thing, like inverse kinematics, forward kinematics, switching between them, um, using physics in rigs. That's really, really, really cool, and it, well, it works. It works, and it kind of it's necessary when you are dealing with, especially with the 3D stuff. But when it comes you to hand-drawn animation, I mean, obviously it's all about the aesthetics you're aiming for, but usually it tends to flatten the animation, because you are trying to use the rig as much as you can, and I usually ended with the stuff that could really look much better uh, by just being redrawn. Oh, this is kind of weird. So we obviously won't need to redraw that one as well. Hmm. Yeah, maybe something like this. Kind of lame, but yeah. Yeah, I'm not super happy about it, but let's maybe just leave it like this for now. I mean, not for now, forever actually. Feel like this guy here breaks down the illusion. It should be aiming a little bit, not very much, but at least a little bit towards us. So I'll just change the perspective by resculpting a little bit like that. Yeah. Maybe just, oh, sorry, pause mode. Okay. All right. I've got my first pose, like the initial pose, and the last pose as well. And like all the things in between looks like doesn't look doesn't look very well. So yeah, a lot of work still, especially that I decided that I have this like weird in between with with his mm, with his leg up and everything. The thing is that I'm aiming for kind of limited frame rate, so I'll be, well, you could say I will be animating on twos. So I kind of at this point I want to take all the bones and just kill the interpolation. So I'll just switch it from Bezier, which is default, I believe, to constant. And this little guy in here, like the breakdowner, will be my best pal for long time. Okay, let's just try to, like, by using the breakdowner, I will just select all the bones and yeah, I will just set it like in like 50%, so it's just, well, more or less in the middle. and I kind of need to rearrange the things. So because right now it's a bloody mess. Like by using the breakdowner, I at least achieve this thing that like the scaling of the bones goes more or less right. But I will just like take all those bones and put it aside for now and try to reassign them like in the way they should be. So let's start with the head. The torso. No onion skins needed. So kind of a lot of resculpting in here because like this pose is really dramatically different from what you would expect by just simply like interpolating it. Uh, yeah, but the thing is that you, well, for the first thing you got all the time you need to make things right. Okay. Uh, and still, I believe it really takes less time than simply redrawing everything. So I'll just select the belt and yeah, make it a little bit more convincing. Yep. Maybe since he's turning to his left, maybe I'll just take everything and try to push it a little bit towards the left. Okay. Let's go with the legs. Okay, so again, the shin hides behind the tights, so I need to rearrange it a little bit. Make it a little bit larger, I guess. Correct the thickness. And yeah, change the perspective of the whole shin. Maybe not the whole, but at least those parts here. Okay, probably I would need to take care about the thickness in here as well. That's pretty great. I should deal with it before I started to resculpt it. Like, probably I should close it. Right now it's because as you remember, I said that if I want to interpolate it later on, if I would close this gap here by simply like this, like hitting F, I would probably destroy the. Whoa, what happened? I would probably destroy the opportunity, like to interpolate it later on. So I'll just, I don't know, I'll just try to close it as best as I can, just by dragging those particular grease pencil vertices. I don't know if you are familiar with the this magnificent book, which kind of made animation possible for me, which is called Animator's Survival Kit by Richard Williams. Um, when he mentions like that the ways you can animate, he kind of says about, like, writes about um, the way that you're like making the whole animation from scratch from the beginning to the end, which is, I believe, called something like forward way of making animations, or like pose to pose. And finally he says that the best way to do it is like to mix those two ways of making animation into something new, where when you combine the techniques from the forwards and from pose to pose. And so, as far as I haven't read that book for a long time, but as far as I remember, he says that you should just like break down your character into like different parts, and then take care about like make a quick forward runs for each limb, for, I don't know, like face, head, like arms, and whatever, in a series of forward runs. And yeah, I couldn't actually get it right for a long time, and I think this techniques kind of enforces it, because obviously you are kind of right now we are kind of going pose to pose, but yeah, later on we'll switch a little bit to kind of forward runs. And this technique kind of enforces the way of animating, like taking care about the particular elements of the rig, of the character, and breaking it down and taking uh, care about particular one thing at a time, something like that. I don't know if I make much sense, but yeah. Okay, so I'll just resculpt it here. And yeah, here I need a quite drastic and dramatic changes, but I think I will be okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Spiky Heart. Like, as you can see, it's not actually a real 3D rig. I mean, it's kind of flattish. It only uses some possibilities that 3D space gives you. Probably, if I would move the camera, for example, if I would throw this character into real 3D environment with, I don't know, some 3D objects around, and I would try to move the camera, the illusion the illusion would break. But there are, well, I decided that I want to go a little bit um, simpler in this particular life, because yeah, when you have to add the 3D space into this equation, it kind of gets even more complicated. So yeah, first things first, it's possible, because, for example, instead of like scaling the bones to get this illusion of making things closer to the camera, you can just move them in the 3D space. But yeah, you have to be really careful then, like not to screw things up. Okay. I wonder if I could just reuse this frame from here. Yeah, it's need it needs a little bit more attention, but yeah, it kind of works. Same here. Let's just try to take this guy here. Yeah, maybe. Well, I will decide later on if I want some kind of special pose, like for the hand in here, like different from the final one or not. Right now it can just go like this. So I'll just scale it along the y-axis a little bit. Again, maybe this, yeah, this could work actually. Scale Y. And finally, the hand, which needs to go a little bit forward along the z-axis. Let's scale it down a little bit. So maybe it's a good time to, because right now my grease pencil, I've got my grease pencil keyframes just in the first frame of my animation, at the breakdown point and at the end. So probably I would need all the grease pencil objects to have their keyframes at the beginning of the animation. So I'll just select all the objects from, like the grease pencil objects from my grease pencil objects collection. By the way, you can do it just by like simply clicking select objects in the outliner. And yeah, and I will just copy this frame and push it like to the frame 33. Okay, so I've got an animation which, like, oh, what's that? What's that? Let's push this foot behind the, yeah, right here. We've got just 3 frames of the animation. And yeah, this is, well, to call it a limited frame rate would be kind of euphemism. So yeah, we need some more stuff in between, right? Okay, so the first thing I will do, I will go to pose mode and see, by using the breakdowner, I will see what's actually happening in here. This is happening. Yeah, I want to keep this frame pretty close to the initial pose. So yeah, 20% sounds good. Obviously, we need to rearrange some things, and this is like, you know, with the proper 3D rig and the 3D character, right now it would be much easier. You wouldn't have to like rearrange all the stuff, but the thing is that if I want with the 2D rig, it would be pretty hard, for example, to set this pose in a way it looks in here, and I want to look it exactly like this because I sketched it and I have it in my mind. It would be pretty hard to achieve it with a conventional rig. So I'm losing some rigging magic, but I'm actually gaining some freedom. So okay, before we start interpolating things, let's try to rearrange the I think I can turn off the sketch. It's not useful anymore. It will just distort the things. So yeah, this guy needs to go back. Yep. Maybe I'll just push it a little bit further. Like this. Resculpt it a little bit. So what I'm trying to do right now is, because I've kind of generated this pose with the breakdowner, and obviously it sucks by now, but I need to rearrange the things that I could be more or less happy with. and hopefully it will take less and less time. Okay. Maybe I'll just push the head a little bit backwards, like kind of in anticipation. Okay, so the bones seem to be more or less where they should be. Right now I need to rearrange the grease pencil objects by interpolating them. So yeah, let's start with the chest. So I'm in the grease pencil, I have my grease pencil object selected, and I will go to draw mode, and I've got this interpolation tool. So I would like to interpolate like the strokes between this and this, like so. Yeah, and it's kind of visual thing. I don't want to look at the, percentage. You can see it like um, it appears in here. But yeah, I want to just like the state when I'm kind of okay with how it looks. And obviously I would need to redo some things like to make it look a little bit more sensible. Yeah, why not? This guy here. Again, I'm just trying to rearrange, I mean, reinterpolate the grease pencil strokes just to match uh, the, the, the leg which is coming up, and yeah. Let's see about this guy here. Um, it appears that I haven't touched the interpolation. I mean the. Maybe I'll just resculpt it a little bit to put it on place. And let's see what happens if I try to. Yeah, it's just good. Okay. What else? How about the shin? Yeah, I think it should stay the same, or even it should go in the opposite way. What if I just put it in here? Yeah, well, not that bad. Needs a little bit of work, but yeah, not that bad. This guy here would probably need to be a little bit less thick. Yeah, let's not just be too picky about it. This definitely needs to be less thick. And same goes for this guy here. Yeah, at some point you don't even need to have the overlays on, because it's quite easy to pick the, you know, the particular parts of this guy, but simply by uh, selecting them in the viewport in the object mode. So yeah, this is kind of cool. Okay, I'm pretty happy about it, about this part. So let's go here and try to create some kind of uh, pose in here. Actually, I would like to hold him a little bit in this breakdown position. So I will not use like 50% or so. Well, the beauty of these things that of this technique is that I can pretty easy rearrange things later on. So let's just go for this. Yeah, so it will go from this position to this position pretty fast, which probably would be a thing because he would kind of lose his um, balance, right? So yeah, let's go with this one. Uh, Obviously, some rearranging for the bones. This one goes a little bit too fast, so I'll just scale it down a bit. Same here. Maybe like so. Maybe let's just put his hands a little bit upwards as well. Could be a thing. Well, I suppose I should spend a little bit more time on my initial sketch. That would kind of resolve my, how to say it, doubts in here. It would be kind of easier. Well, I forgot about the face, the most important part. So yeah, I probably should interpolate it as well because it changed the position of the strokes in the final keyframe. So let's see what we can achieve here. I'll just need to like switch it since this is right now is the only object which has like more than one layer, and I want to interpolate all of them in the same time. So I'll just, all right. Something like that. You know what? I want to work a little bit more on this one. So, yeah, probably my intuition tells me that probably he would like kind of look upwards. So I'll just try to create illusion of it by changing the angles here and there. So I'll start with the head. Nothing fancy, just you know. Same here. I kind of screwed up. I should put this card behind the behind this belt in here, like at the very beginning. Uh, I don't want to mess with it right now, so I'll just put it on the correct place manually. And yeah, same goes for the top of the head. Top of the top head. Okay, maybe let's just push those eyes a little bit upwards. And the nose. And of course, like, I can redraw all the stuff I want. So if I would like need some very certain expression at this point, I could just redraw his eyes or his mouth, whatever. I could even like nest the, I don't know. Let's say he says something during this animation, so I can nest the, some lip sync in here. So probably if I would like to be more precise, I could like try to resculpt the this top hat in a way that it's pointing downwards a little bit, but I'm too lazy for it right now, so I'll just leave it like this. Okay. Actually, in the latest versions of Blender, interpolating multiple layers sometimes crashed my Blender down. It never happened actually before. So I was a little bit confused about it, but today everything seems to be just fine. Okay, so I will interpolate it as well, but use like just, I don't know, 20% or something. I need to rearrange some bones in here to make it okay. This color bothers me a little bit, so I will just hide the head for a short time, and yeah, I will try to resculpt it a little bit. And as you can see, like, the things tend to get a little bit distorted during the resculpting process, but with a little practice, you can easily put them back on place and in their right shape. That's great. That's great. Let's put the head back. Yeah, probably I would need to like correct this guy in here as well. All right, so I got some kind of in betweens. Oh, no, you're not ready yet. I need to fix this guy. Maybe I'll just scale it along y-axis. Yeah, and probably I would need to resculpt this thing a little bit. Let's try the interpolation. Nah. like this. All right, all right. Before I start to fill this with the in-betweens, well, if I will manage to do it, I think I will be more than happy with the frame rate. So every second frame is animated. This is kind of good for me when it comes to hand-drawn animation, and it actually looks, usually it looks better like this than it in full frame rates. It goes, if it goes too smooth, it kind of like the illusion is broken somehow. But before I will start to fill it with in-betweens, I just want to do one more thing. Let's go to Action Editor, and I will just copy the last keyframe. Let's say I'll duplicate, so Shift D for duplicate, like 8 frames. So I've got the same keyframes here and here. And since this is quite a strong movement, I want to get kind of like overshoot effect. So it will go a little bit down. How to make it pose mode. Oh, yeah, selection tool. I don't want you to move. Maybe I'll just take all those bones, like everything besides the head, the legs, and push it a little bit downwards. Maybe the arms would go a little bit upwards. Like this. Yeah, so this leg should probably go a little bit down as well, like so. Same here. Just a tiny motion. Okay, I think I forgot about this right foot. So I think I'm gonna fix it right now. Yeah, because it should move at least a little bit. So yeah, let's try to interpolate it. 50% still doesn't work for me. Maybe let's just resculpt it a little bit. And obviously there is something wrong in here. Okay. So this is another cool thing about this technique. It's quite easy to rearrange stuff. If you know what you're doing, it's quite easy to correct the mistakes and polish things up. Yeah, that looks good. Maybe something should happen to the head. The question is, should it stay, like, go back at this point, at this overshoot point, like this, or opposite, like this? Yeah, I think that looks better. Yeah, much better. And with such a delicate movements, this is where this technique really shines. Because right now I'll just, take the breakdowner, set it into like 50%, and I've got my tiny overshoot ready. You know what? I could fix this guy here a little bit. I feel like it should go more like this. I don't know. Yeah, I think it makes more sense. And during this overshoot, so here, I think he could. I don't like this. I think I should fix his eyes. This one is definitely out of shape. Maybe I can go just with uh, rescaling things and rearranging it a little bit. This is kind of beauty of working with vectors. Obviously, the quality of the line comparing to what you can experience in, I don't know, in Photoshop or Krita or Clip Studio, whatever, uh, it's kind of inferior because these are vectors, and in Clip Studio we deal with raster graphics, so the brushes could, you know, well, they got much better feeling comparing to vectors. But the thing is that you can do so many things with the vectors uh, after actually you have drawn stuff. You can rearrange them in a very cool ways. And in fact, if I want to go for the natural feeling of drawing, I would probably go for like pen and paper. This is like, you can beat that. Okay, so yeah, so I will just take this keyframe and copy it here. You know what? I think I would blink if I would make this movement. So I'll just delete this keyframe. Actually, right now I'm gonna turn off on the onion skinning. Excuse me, guys, for a minute. Just need to answer the call. Okay, guys, I'm back. So yeah, where have you been? Yeah, one of the coolest thing about this, you know, workflow is that you can absolutely redraw everything if you want. So while while using a rig, so uh, let's just make use of it. I'll just close his eyes for a moment. Yeah, and here I think I will open them up. Oh, too short. Yeah. So, well, I'm pretty happy with it. I don't know how about you, like if you like it or not. I mean, I'm pretty happy with it because it's well, it's quite complicated pose. I mean, the breakdown was like there is like a big distortion of like camera lens or whatever, like obviously a fake camera lens, but I can imagine if I would do it like normal in a normal way, so by just redrawing all the stuff, it could get much more, I don't know, messy and wiggly in a way I don't like. I mean, generally speaking, I like boiling animation and like this hand drawn imperfections, but yeah, sometimes it's a little bit too much. And I think I managed to maintain the like the general look of this character. And yeah, Spiky Heart, we are not done yet. Okay, like there are a few things that we can do, because I mean, I remember animations that I was doing that actually client told me that 4 frames, every fourth frame of the animation is okay for him. That was like a big commercial project. I was asking, well, how many frames? Well, I was expecting that they will need like full frame rate or something, which I really hate because it's a lot of work and barely, very rarely it looks good. I mean, it always like somehow it always looks better on twos. And they told me that, well, they actually prefer it on fours. Yeah. So I was quite amazed with it. I'm not sure if it looked good or not. Not me to say probably, but yeah, I want to go further than that. So because like the biggest nightmare at this point normally would be to fill it with this amount of detail. I'm not saying that this is like some kind of crazy amount of detail. This is like a little bit above my normal stuff. So yeah, but anyway, even if the detail level would be a little even if there would be a little less detail on this character, it would be the most horrific moment, like to fill it with the proper in-betweens. I really hate it. So yeah, that would be bad. I hope, I'm not sure, like we'll see in a moment, but I think that I could like really save a lot of times with the in-betweening by using this method. So yeah, let's start from the beginning, like the first frame. I feel like his leg shouldn't, his foot shouldn't move yet. I mean, it should. What the heck? Ah, sorry. It should stay at the same place. Like maybe some initial movement, just like heel going up or something like that. That's something very very subtle. And so yeah, this is in betweening, but yet we are creating some, you know, some original content. If you, well, can't find the right word for it. Okay, so that would probably, this keyframe, this in between here would probably be a nightmare. Yeah, that one would be most difficult. The first thing is to decide where to put it. So we just started the movement. I don't know, like let's start with something like that maybe. Let's see. Yeah, probably, but obviously it needs some, additional work. Cool thing is that the um, you know the, in most cases, not in this case actually, but the objects are at the right place, so I'll just need to move the foot backwards. It goes in front here, it's in the back here. That's better. Maybe I'll just resculpt it a little bit. Okay. All right. Let's see if we got anything that can work better at this. No, not really. So I'll just resculpt it. I will just resculpt it. Ah, God, remember this guy here? Again. Yeah, whatever. So I believe that should go a little bit up. Well, actually I haven't mentioned the thing that, wait a moment. It should be like this, probably. Yeah, more likely. Yeah, I haven't mentioned one thing yet. Oh shoot! Hi. Oh, I'm totally. Uh, I mean, I don't know much what's happening in there because there is not much about the situation in Iran right now. Like I know this, there is like a lot of bad things happen. So I really hope you're fine. Really hope you're fine. Hello. Okay, so what I was saying, you might. I should probably start from it because that way I'm drawing in Blender in Grease Pencil, it's kind of weird. So normally when I was like for many years when I was animating, I was starting with with outlines. Yeah, keep safe, like really. um okay. Let's just get back to grease pencil. I was starting with the outline, like the outline sketch, and then I was cleaning it up also with the outline, and then I had to fill all the colors, right? uh Come on. And that was another part of the process that I really hated. I mean, first cleaning it up, and secondary, like the um, filling it with colors. It really sucked for me. I mean, a lot of time and a lot of energy. And don't get me wrong, but if someone will develop a proper AI tool to fill it with colors, like the beautifully hand drawn frame by frame line art filled automatically with colors, then, well, I would change my mind about AI in general. But there are, as you can see, there are ways to avoid it, kind of. So I just, when I started to to have fun in Blender and with grease pencil, it was quite a long time ago. And at that time, it was even before like the Blender 2.0 kicked in, so it was before the grease pencil actually became proper tool for drawing. uh, Before that, it was a proper tool for drawing before that, but it was merely something a little bit above like the annotation tool. And there was even no paint bucket back then, so I had to develop this technique with just drawing with shapes. But it appeared that it resolves one of the problems with doing actually like same things twice. I mean, not the same thing, but like when you have like the clean artwork, then you get to feel it somehow with, probably with the paint bucket or something like that. And I never used any kind of software that done it flawlessly. And like grease pencil grease pencil paint bucket is far beyond flawless. It's like I had it, so I just go usually by drawing everything with shapes, which kind of resolves one very important thing, like you just don't have to clean up everything twice. Okay, I mean, not clean up, but clean up and then fill it. Okay, let's try to interpolate this guy here. um Draw, interpolate. Oh, whoa, what happened here? Yeah, this hand looks off still. I think I think it should be something completely different. I think it should go already to the uh, let's see if we've got something ready in here. Probably would work. I'll just try to scale it down. Oh, sorry. Scale it down with the along the y-axis a little bit. Maybe, just maybe, resculpt it a little bit. Yeah, thanks. Okay, so I'll just move it here and move it in front, and probably I would like to use different, well, nah, it doesn't work. That doesn't work. So yeah, I think at this point I need to redraw it. Pure fun. Yeah. Something between this and this. So I would say let's start with the thumb. Hmm. That's cool. Yeah. Oh my god, guys, my dog is having a bad dream. I don't know if you can hear it, but yeah, she's sleeping and probably a cat chases her or something like that. Yeah, that needs to be redone as well. So let's see if this works. Kind of, not Z, but scale by Y. Oh, what's happening? Once again. Scale Y. Scale Y. Resculpt a little bit to get this a little bit more of depth. Bring it to the front. Yeah, and I believe I need to... What's happening here? Oh gosh. Okay. Well, happens sometimes when working with shapes. Um, I'll just draw one big shape at the back, so yeah, no one will notice. Okay, so the question is if I should redraw this hand or not, or resculpt it. Probably it needs redrawing. Nah, let's resculpt it. First of all, we need to take down the thickness. Great. Maybe just rearranging the fingers a little bit would help. Spiky heart, yeah. I'm not sure if something like this exists, but the way I deal with it, I mean, you mean, for example, when I first, I think I know what you are talking about. For example, I was working on in-game animations for like one small adventure game. You should definitely check it out. Like it's called Prim. It's like point and click adventure game. Very good. And so obviously it was like animation, but it was using more conventional rig, and I needed, for example, the um, well, for example, like when I had the object or a particular grease pencil layer for mouth, I needed to have this keyframe, special keyframes for like for those, I don't know, it's called 8 phonemes or something like that. When you can basically arrange lip sync with not like drawing every particular sentence, but just like automating it in the game engine. Um, but sometimes the character needed to like to talk in a special way, so I really needed those 8 phonemes to be like somewhere existing somewhere in the scene. So what I was doing, I was just like drawing couple of grease pencil frames. Like for example, if I would like, let's just create another layer, uh, and I was drawing those phonemes. Like it usually goes like, I think, like P, uh, S, ah, E, A, O, and so on, right? So the way I was dealing with it, I was just simply dragging them. Well, here, like before, before the scene even starts, I had this whole bunch of like grease pencil layers with like stuff that I want to reuse, like blinking eyes, changing shapes of the hand. It was much less complicated character, so yeah, it worked very well. It would be better to have some kind of a system that allows you, but I'm not sure if it's not possible. I never actually explored this topic. Yeah, but yeah, this is like this is one of the ways that you can actually uh, mm, deal with it. So yeah, I'll just delete it. Okay, where was I? I think this is fine, but this is not fine. I think this is too soon for this um, final pose of the hand. So here I would like to have. Hmm, okay. Woo. Yeah, let's just resculpt it a little bit. Well, that sucks, but yeah, that kind of sucks. I need to resculpt it a little bit more. All right, let's not be too picky about it. Oh, let's Oh, yeah. Let's get back to our in-betweens. I want to finish this part as soon as possible. So yeah, we are here. Select all the bones. In-betweener. Probably 50%. Oh, see, not much to fix here. Probably we need to deal with this guy here in the sculpt mode. Sorry, in the draw mode, like with some interpolation. Nope, it doesn't work, so we'll just resculpt it a little bit. Yeah. Alright. Let's get further. Well, this is fun. Okay, so at this point, I think I would like to be almost at the at the next pose. Obviously, some work in here, especially this guy here. I want to fix it at the first place. What's happening? Yeah, I think it's good. I think it's good. I want the foot to be at the final destination, so I'll just take the foot bone and put it here. And you see, like with this kind of like tweaks, if I would have like the whole system, IK or FK or whatever, I mean IK or FK, well, that would mean that this bone is driven, like this shin bone is driven either by foot or the leg, and come on, like this is more trouble than simply rearranging some bones. It should be probably it should probably go like this. Yeah. So yeah. So yeah, never ever start to interpolate stuff until you're sure about your bone positions. Something wrong with the arm in here, so let's just fix that. Maybe like this, maybe like this. Do I have something that could fit in here? Yeah, probably yes. So I'll just slightly modify it. I could rearrange it a little bit. I think the to make it more dynamic, I could do it like this, that the hand is going a little bit back. Same here. And then it goes to the final position. Yeah. Pretty cool. Okay, and that one, because like I've got this overshoot position, like keyframe, and then that should be pretty easy. I mean, normally you'd have to fill it with in-betweens anyway, but I will just like interpolate the bones in a way that it starts really slow. So like, let's say 20%. This is 50%, and I would like to be almost at the end of the animation. So I got like nice ease in and ease out movement in here. Okay, guys, so this is it. Like, cool thing is that I could really, well, I have like kind of finished animation, but wait a moment, what's happening here? Wow. We should definitely interpolate this guy here. Throw. Yeah, something like this. Or maybe not so dramatic, like 30%. Yeah, so kind of cool. But the coolest thing, I mean, it probably needs some additional work, as usual. But yeah, I'm pretty satisfied with it. And the thing is that it's quite easy to rearrange things, even at this point that it's almost finished. It's kind of clean up, but it's if it would be strictly frame by frame, I would decide, for example, that I want like to these arms go further up. Well, that would be probably very painful process to redraw or to rearrange this stuff. With this kind of like bone driven hand drawn animation, this is not that bad. It has its special look, but this is more or less as far as I got in compromise between fully hand drawn and stuff that can save your life when you need animate fast and animate fast and rearrange stuff after you see what you have actually done. One more little test I would like to do. Look, I will take, for example, the hand. I will take the hand and I will create another layer in here. And I will try to create some strictly hand-drawn forward run with some, I don't know, magical stuff that I love to do. Probably I would need to, like, to make it more appealing, I will just create another grease pencil material. Maybe give it a little bit more of character by animating the radius a little bit to yeah. Okay, so what I will do, I will create a bunch of empty frames on twos. And actually, no, I will do it here. I will actually do it here. Maybe a little bit more. So, magic, right? So right now I definitely need the onion skins. Maybe one more. So I got this cool little spark. I could modify it in a very weird ways with grease pencil modifiers, because you can affect only particular layers of animation. So yeah, but and the cool part is that since it's like driven by a bone, I can kind of, well, let's see, maybe it will suck. I don't know. But yeah, see what I mean? This is kind of cool. So yeah, thank you guys for being with me. Hope my Eastern European English was understandable enough for you guys. The topic is quite complicated. It's always complicated to, I don't know, like to combine the hand-drawn stuff with rigs and, you know, make it appealing. You might find the idea of disconnecting all the bones and using this kind of totally free rig a little bit weird. But yeah, I mean, right now it's the fastest way to animate for me. So take it or leave it. See you next time, guys, and yeah, goodbye.